Afternoon, everybody. Uncle Fester here. All right, just checking in. It's a bit of a lazy day today, beautiful Sunday. But I thought I'd just check in, just going through Facebook today and the news and seeing what's on. I'm just big shout out really to Johnny Mercer. Hope you've had a nice cooked dinner today. All right. At the end of the day, Johnny Mercer, he continues to say there's not a problem within the veterans community or serving members, the armed forces community. All right. And a lot of us who do these shout outs all the time and trying to get the government to sit up and listen to, at the end of the day, there is a problem out there. There's a major mental health problem. People are struggling with their mental health and life struggles. So, we've got a lot of regiments out there who potentially, I know of a few regiments out there that are suffering, even our elite forces are suffering with mental health. All right. And when when a few of them actually turn around and say they're actually more scared of the people they're going against in conflict zones than our government. They're more scared of our government than them people they're hunting down in conflict zones. Then we have a major problem. Johnny Mercer, you've blocked me, and you've blocked me many times, and you are avoiding other people. You send us generic letters to our responses. I'm just looking through a friend's webpage today, Jeff Williams. Jeff has been massive advocate of trying to bring change because of the suicides we're having, all right, and life struggles. And I'm just looking at one of his posts today, and it says we have had more hassle in the past 2 weeks than in the past 3 years, and it's then the last from Team Mercer. Go away and focus what you're paid to do, things you said to do, trying to say there is not an issue. Johnny Mercer's been trying to say there's not an issue, all right? And it's not as bad as the veterans community make out. And there is actual major problems out there. We've had 57, maybe 58 now suicides this year. If we look at the amount of veterans who have been medically discharged since Afghanistan, this is what Jeff's saying in his post. Or Johnny Mercer, you need to speak to the families. Look, I'm going to read what Jeff said. Speak to the families. Remember, we are only a Facebook page, as you keep reminding us. So how have we got your back? Got you on the back foot? Why won't you answer? Veterans community, be under no illusion they're fighting to blacken our name and reputations. All right, Jeff Williams, all right, is absolutely, he's done his time. As you can see in the picture there, he's a Royal Marine, all right, and he's a man with pride, honour and dignity. But Johnny Mercer, okay, you come out as a captain, but you've got no honour, you've got no dignity, you've got no pride, because you actually admitted there was a major problem and you were going to go into Parliament and create a better system. And you haven't. Johnny, or any of the MPs out there who are watching this, if you really don't think we've got a problem, you need to go and start speaking to the likes of Jeff, Jim, even myself, Simon Bean, the Maverick veteran, Trevor Collett, all right, the twins. There's a lot of people out there, Gary Armstrong, even the family members. Listen to the family members who've lost somebody. And it's not hard to find them. Johnny, if we didn't have a problem, then we wouldn't be seeing headlines like this. 1st of October, August 2020, tragedy of 3 young British pals who were driven to suicide. All right? The mother of the child is speaking on there. That's, and it's continuous. Army told my hero husband to man up before he took his own life. And reading this post, you know, Katie Matthews, absolutely, you know, she was a newly qualified nurse. She spent 13 hours a day on the COVID front line. So she's fighting for the government against a known unknown source that is blighting our country at the moment. All right? But they weren't there for him. There was nobody there for him. So it's quite sad. We need to get the army support. This is it. I received a lot of support from the army as a widow. I just wished it was there when Mitchell was alive. And this is her own words, all right? He'd give everything for his job. But instead of supporting Mitchell when he was struggling, the army made his life difficult, very difficult. So them words just show that you're not doing anything for our veterans. And personnel struggling as well. The personnel, we go back to there, them 3 young lads. Johnny, look at them pictures. Because you actually state openly on, what date was it? The 10th of September this year. Veterans Minister Johnny Mercer has lavished praise on 2 former soldiers from Portsmouth for their tireless work in supporting traumatised troops nationwide. Johnny, you admitted he took each suicide of a military hero as a personal failure. Johnny, you don't take it as a personal failure. You're just blabbing. You're just blabbing because you're not actually trying to work with any of the veterans in the community, you know. So the one thing I'm going to say to you is stop blabbing. If you're concerned, reach out to us and actually talk to us, because we need to stop this. We need to get a grip of it. As you see, Johnny, there's others. Army fail, our teenage sons both killed themselves at the barracks. And we're waiting because at the moment, we're not too sure, but we've been told that there's been one other over a week ago. And Johnny, you've had the letter. You've had an email asking you about 2 fatalities that we've heard about, which have been covered up. So please, Johnny, don't hide things. Come out. The veterans community want to bring a solution to this because they're our brothers and sisters. And although if you do feel it personally, then start showing it. Stop putting on your front and start kicking and start speaking out like the rest of us are doing. All right, because it's wrong. We need change. You know, you're actually turning around. MOD have said we take mental health of serving and former personnel extremely seriously. Anybody wishing to seek support, you give us a number. All right, but at the end of the day, we've got communities out there doing 24/7 because a lot of the numbers are not 24. All right, you need to get a grip of this, Johnny, because it's unacceptable. In this report, it says you're bringing psychiatrists in on 107,000 a year to actually fight the PTSD. I suffered PTSD, Johnny. I was diagnosed with it. PTSD weren't from my army career. It was from something else which was horrific that I had to face. And Johnny, I overcome PTSD. 107,000. Mate, there's facilities out there, there's people out there. Like we say to you, it's not just about bringing psychiatrists in. You need to listen. You need to educate. You need to treat. And you need to support. 4 things you need to do, Johnny. Psychiatrists, all due respect to you, mate. I've sat myself through Veterans Aid. I sat with a psychologist in Harley Street. You couldn't get any better. I believe it was about £400 an hour they were paying for me to go to a psychologist, okay? Psychologist did nothing for me. Psychologist become my friend. I told him what I wanted to tell him. Because when you're in them dark times, at the end of the day, unless you've got somebody sitting across from you who you respect, and you can see that they'll have an understanding who you are, you won't open up. I can tell you that now. It took me 2 years after I left Veterans Aid, a homeless hostel for veterans, to really get to grips with what was going on in my head. And I went and done ayahuasca, I went and done Cambo, I went and done Reiki. Tony Robbins in America, I done one of his, he's one of my mentors today if I want to kick back in. And Dean Gracino, Kane Ramsey. I went through a lot of courses, and the last course which actually fitted the puzzle or the jigsaw into the big puzzle was a course called More to Life, where they educated me on how the mind works and how our emotions work, and how we beat ourselves up with our thoughts in our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind, how it plays, we become victim and angry, all right, and we get concerned, but we don't take responsibility. We actually slip back in. This CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, it doesn't work, all right. You're better off doing breath work, where it gets to the root of the anger. Not every treatment works. There's so many treatments out there, but what I would say to you is just employing psychiatrists ain't the answer. All right, 107,000 a year. You don't need to be doing that. Look, potentially 30. You can do 150 people for that amount of money, and I can guarantee they will have a change like that, all right, or a majority of them would. For the money you were spending, is you need to sit with the community, veterans community, and see what's going on already. We have veterans setting up helplines 24/7 with actual veterans on there, people who understand what people are going through, and it's getting worse. Mental health is getting worse. Help for Heroes have already said it. Their requests for their services have gone up 20 to 30% during the lockdown. All right, mental health is a major problem across the UK, but we have all these charities, we have all this funding, and we're closing establishments down. Now should be the time we bring all the veterans charities together, and all the money from them charities goes into one big pot, and the Veterans Office of Affairs, with a community of veterans and serving personnel, sit on a board and actually look at the assets available, so the homeless veterans can actually be housed in the Royal British Legion properties, which they're selling off for 5.9 million, I think it is. Help for Heroes, they're selling their properties off. Them properties should be kept, and they should be used as areas where veterans can go to with people, like-minded people, so they can work through their problems. We say this has only come about since 2000, late 90s. Look, the reason it's come about is because the Royal British Legion, years ago after the Falklands War and any other conflicts we had, people could go to ex-servicemen's clubs. People could go to clubs and sit with like-minded people and share their struggles. And they knew they were in the company of like-minded people, and they could have a bit of banter and get things off their chest. We haven't got that anymore today. We've taken it all away. We're selling off places. So, Johnny, are you saying there's no problem? All right. You just need to wake up, because I'm just flicking through. Ministry of Defence failed. My army veteran son. Johnny, I can pull him up left, right and centre. And you know I can. So there is a major problem out there. So we need to get you to wake up a little bit. All right. The next one I'm going to go on to is the Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage Right, Nigel Farage. You can love him or lump him at the end of the day, and I know a lot of people would lump him. All right, but what Nigel Farage is doing at the moment is highlighting some things that really need to be highlighted. And I don't know if you've seen the latest video Nigel Farage has done, but if you haven't, I've put a link up above. All right, and I would actually recommend you actually go and have a look at it. All right, I'll show you a little bit of the clip now where Nigel Farage actually.
And this is a military site, it's an army camp, and it's been one since 1794 when the Kent Yeomanry were founded. And the reason for the camp being here, up on the hills, good views out over the English Channel, and this whole place was built to stop an invasion. That was the Napoleonic invasion. You'll find on this coast Martello Towers, even a Royal Military Canal that was dug. Such was the fear that Napoleon would invade the country. Today, it is the home to the 1st Battalion, the Royal Gurkha Rifles. It is still an active army camp, although, given the size of the army now, parts of it are actually being sold off and being developed for housing. But one of the barracks here, the Napier Barracks, well, that is currently undergoing a big refit, because later on this week, it won't be the Ministry of Defence that owns the Napier Barracks here at Shorncliffe. It'll be the Home Office, and that's because they're going to house 400 illegal migrants on this site. And this has been done without reference to the parish council, without reference to the district council, without reference to the local MP, Damien Collins. Everybody is furious that this is being imposed upon them by central government. But if you think about it, the sheer number of people who are illegally in this country and still coming in every day gives the government a few options. I've been around the country, I've been to hotels, we've looked at private accommodation. Well, now it's army camps that are being used. This one here in Shorncliffe, one Pengali in Tenby in West Wales, is right now being refitted to be used for the same purpose. And there's something wrong about this. I mean, firstly, that this place was built to prevent invasion, and now it'll actually house people who are part of a modern invasion, but it's more than that. We have a very large number of people who've served in Afghanistan, served in Iraq, who've fallen upon very hard times. Hard times not just financially, but mentally as well. Far too many of them are homeless. And I think the idea of barracks like this, which actually could be used to house ex-servicemen, are being used to house people who come to Britain illegally, is something that makes people pretty upset. I'm also told that here in the local community, people are not happy about this decision at all. So this is it. This is Shorncliffe, Ministry of Defence, keep clear, and you'll see there the sign for the 1st Battalion, the Royal Gurkha Rifles. That's it. Thank you. Just about to see it. What about this Serco job?
So, as you can see, all right, let's not mess about. We have veterans living on the streets. Johnny, why? You know, why can't we use that facilities for our veterans? You send the veterans off to a conflict. You send the veterans off to a conflict in the Middle East, and we leave that zone, and they went and they served the Queen and country, and they done what you asked them to do, all right, but they return back and you leave them out to dry. But it was evident that we never fixed the countries we went to. We made them worse, and the only reason we went was because America, for Iraq, America went for Saddam Hussein because of the oil he was going to trade for euros. Gaddafi was, again, for oil was going to be traded as Q grand, and he was going to take on the US dollar. So, you know, we didn't go to Syria. we didn't go to Syria because Syria never had anything the Americans or the Western worlds were interested in. So we've got all these people displaced coming to the United Kingdom because the United Kingdom's seen as an easy touch. At the end of the day, they get the United Kingdom, they get the welfare, they get the benefits, they get a passport after a while. And yeah, I've been to many countries across the world, and I've spoke to immigrants, and I've actually lived with them. All right, I lived in Africa with them for 13, 14 months, and everybody said they think Britain's paved with gold. They can come here and, well, they can come here and make a better lifestyle than what they had in their own country, and I don't blame them. But the government needs to look after the people who served their country. We have people who are struggling with their mind. I struggled. Yes, Friday, I nearly ended up in prison. Okay? Because of my struggles with my mind. And some of the things that I was telling myself, all right, I weren't good enough. But I overcome that with all the training I've done. PTSD. I manage my problems today. I manage my issues. But the people out there who are suffering, they need to be taught the tools and techniques to manage their actual issues so they don't escalate them, so they understand their episodes and the triggers. They understand the triggers of their episodes. So a big question I'm going to ask to you, Johnny Mercer, is you keep blocking me. You keep blocking the veterans community. You keep alienating people within the veterans community. So anytime you actually come and sat with us and listened to us, because we have people coming to us. We have 400 members at the moment with one person, and you know who the one person is, Johnny, because she sent you an email last week, CC'd me in it. So please, don't stop burying your head, because we won't go away. We'll keep coming. Jeff Williams, Jim Wild, absolutely brilliant job. What they've done, they kept coming and coming for the last 3 years at you. All right. It's about time you got off your backside. Come and have a cup of coffee with us. All right. And let's have a sit down. We don't want to be shouting at you. We don't want to be doing these videos, but change is needed, and while I'm on here, I am going to say to the veterans community, you all need to pull together, because there's a lot of you in the veterans community actually. I'm all right, Jack attitude. All right. And if you don't like what I'm saying, then at the end of the day, have a look at why you don't like it, because it might be the truth. All right. We have got issues going on out there. We have got people struggling. All right. So check in with some people that are struggling. All right. And if you haven't spoken to somebody for a long time, reach out and speak to them, because you'll be surprised on where they are in life. I spoke to somebody 2 days ago, and yeah, it was a very good chat, 2 hours, and he's been in the bad places as well, and we still continue actually. So it's good to catch up and talk. But definitely, definitely, it's a beautiful weekend. All right, as I said to you, I was on a close call on Friday. The universe or somebody, Lady Lucky, was behind me. All right, I'm still here, but while I'm still here, I'm still going to be shouting for our serving personnel and our veterans. All right, because they are suffering. Glenn, I can't remember your second name on Twitter. All right, who tweets all about mental health within the armed services. Get realistic. Get talking to the men. A lot of commanders out there see mental health as a stigma. All right, and I know for some infantry units and units elite that the men are suffering. All right, so look, I'm not going to share them on you, but if you've got some balls, get in contact with me so we can sit down and have a chat. All right, but maybe you're just there. You got about a year left on your career. You're ticking the box, ready to get out to Civvy Street, and you don't want to upset the establishment. That's the problem we've got. We've got a lot of people career-minded within the armed forces. Don't want to upset the establishment, because if they speak out, their careers are ended. All right, we need to stop that. It's a stigma. Thank you very much for watching, if you've continued to watch this. All right. Dean, mate, absolutely legend. I need to get in touch with you. And Simon, all right. Look, to the veterans out there, if you're judging people on the past, why are you judging people on the past? Judge them on where they are now and what they do now. All right, we've all done silly things in our past that we're not proud of. All right, so let's stop bitch fighting. My cock is bigger than your cock syndrome. All right, let's all put together, because that's what's needed at this moment. No infighting, no cockfighting. My cock is bigger than yours, all right? Or egos. Leave your egos outside the door, because we will never bring change otherwise. This is about the veterans. Mental health support for the veterans. We try and stop the suicides, all right? And try and help people with life struggles. And trying to get our veterans who are homeless and fix them. Also, the pursuing of our veterans for alleged crimes, all right? We need to stop them as well, all right? And the prosecutions, which seem to have gone side-swerved. So, veterans amongst you, I know some of you are going to get pissed off with this video. Some of you say, oh, here he goes again. I don't give a shit, all right? Because to my heart, I am absolutely passionate about bringing change, all right? If you don't like it, you can lump it, all right? But it does need everybody to come together. Please, please. All right, love you all. Have a good day. I'll speak to you.